I think that there are a lot of people in the world today who are hypocrites, people who act like they are the best people. But when it comes down to it, they are true evils. In order to keep up with more revenge stories, hit the bell icon and subscribe to our channel in order to be the first to whom new ones are posted. Let's say that my ex-wife's name was Nix and she was 25 years old and I was 27 years old. It has been 3 years since he got married. Then something happened that destroyed our family, and that was the end of our family. I met Yanni once I was passing the road as it was a weekend. So I was coming back from a bonfire party from the woods, which was a great area far away from the city, and saw her with a flat tire on the back of her car because it was raining since it was about 12 p.m. in the night. And I was passing her, she was waving her hand for help. So I decided to pull over and help her out as soon as I stopped. She informed me that her tire was flat. As a result, I gave her a lift. Her one friend had gone to get some help for her, but she had not come over until now. So she told me she had been stuck there for almost 2 years. In the course of waiting, her battery went dead. I was asked by her if I had a cell phone which she could use to call her friend. Having given her the cell phone, she was able to call on her. A gas station has been reached by her. She said, anyhow, he told me to drop her off at the gas station on my way home. As soon as we arrived there, she informed us that there was no one who could repair our car. So unfortunately, they would have to wait until the next morning to do so. Then I suggested that they come over with me and I would drop them off at a safe place where they would be able to help pick up their car in the morning. I was agreed upon by both of them. And then we made our way to a motel which was quite far away. Once I had dropped them off, Jenny thanked me and offered me something to eat or drink with them. In spite of my refusal, she insisted that I join her. Despite the fact that I was already late. Our friendship started from their own words. My apologies for the background scenario. But I hope this will help you out in understanding the entire picture more clearly. Next day after getting the car, the night before they got back to the city center and were able to get back into their homes. I received a call from her after 2 days to thank me once again for what I did for her. So to put it simply, I was getting all of her feelings about me based on how she felt about me. After that, we started meeting up on regular basis. There was no sign of any interest on my part to her. When she got some free time, she came over to meet me or called me when she wanted to talk to me. Do you know why an ordinary girl would do something like this? There was a great deal of interest in me on her part. Anyhow, one day she just happened to see me chatting with one of my girlfriends who I was hanging out with just to pass the time. I was told by her that she was not a good girl and you should stay away from her as much as I could as a result. She expressed her feelings that day and cried. Then she explained that unfortunately, you have a girlfriend. So it's okay for you. It was my heart that melted when she cried. Then I told her that even though she was a girlfriend of mine, I did not love her. She did not stop crying, even when I tried to convince her to stop crying. And I also revealed to her that I also felt a spark in my heart because of her. But at first I thought that maybe we should be friends, or perhaps I was confused about you. So I thought we should be friends. Instead. After that, I hugged her and told her not to cry because I was with her. I remember when she calmed down, and then we started our relationship as lovers. The night we met, I was a banker at the time and she was a hairdresser at the time. As far as my finances were concerned, I was also in good shape. We ran our relationship for 1.5 years and we hung out and had a lot of fun whenever we got together. There was no doubt in my mind that I had found my true love. She was very romantic towards me. There was something very unique about her compared to the other girls I have known in the past. In addition to that, she was also a good partner. It is my belief that if a girl liked you, she would definitely find a way to make you happy. And to be honest, that sort of girl is much wilder than the other kind. According to my experience. I remember at that time once when she called me and asked me to come over as fast as I could. The moment I reached there, I found her sitting on the ground in shock with tears streaming down her face after asking for what had happened. She handed me a strip as a result of what had happened. It was something I had no idea what it was in response to my question. She said that I should read what it is all about. The first thing I noticed was that it was a pregnancy strip. When I read it, I was told it showed that I was pregnant and it was a sign of pregnancy. Hearing this news shocked me to my core. When I asked her how she was able to do this, she replied, "I don't know. Well, we always used protection. Only the last time we didn't use it because she told me that it was safe for us to have it at that time." As far as she was concerned, she could not control what happened. There is no doubt that whatever happened was due to the gods. It was obvious that she was in a lot of pain. After that, I hugged her and held her close to me. During my conversation with her, I told her to calm down. The situation would be resolved as soon as possible. We then discussed the matter further and we came to a conclusion. I offered her the choice to abort the child, but she refused to do so, saying that she wanted to carry the child to term as for many days she was in trauma and I was not able to see her in such a state. Eventually, one day I was compelled to meet her and proposed to marry her. Our child would be cared for together by both of us. I proposed to her and she accepted and we got married a short time later. There was a period of about 3 months gestation afterwards. Our child was born after a period of 6 months. In my opinion, it was one of the best moments of my life. I was unable to express my feelings about it. In any case, after that, her body became too much chubby. So she had to lose a lot of weight. It seemed to me that she started accumulating fat on her body for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it did happen. I suggested to her that she start working out and doing yoga as soon as possible. During the second half of the year, she went to the gym for 2 months, which was quite helpful to her. Then, unfortunately, a pandemic of COVID-19 occurred because of the lockdown, resulting from the COVID. She was unable to go to the gym because of the lockdown. As a result of the COVID in terms of length, the lockdown lasted for quite some time. It was at this point that she started getting frustrated with herself. It was one of my neighborhood friends last year who was also my gym buddy. I had one who was a yoga trainer. Therefore, she told me to ask my friend to come over and train her in yoga and workouts. However, it wasn't a big deal anyhow, since I asked him to give her yoga sessions, and he agreed to do so. However, he still needs to receive a dose of vaccination. So he decided he would come to our house from the beginning of next month. As far as he was concerned, it wasn't a big deal. She just waited for it at the time. She was trying her best to do it on her own, but she wasn't much an expert at all. After 1 month, he informed me that he was fully vaccinated and he was ready to come over for yoga training, and he was now ready to come over as a result. He started coming to our house to teach Jenny yoga classes, and he's been doing it ever since. Due to the lockdown, I was able to work from home. The banks were closed. So I did not have much to do throughout the bank as they were closed. In addition to this, I have started working as a freelance graphic designer on a freelance basis. So I used to work on it day and night for a long period of time. In the beginning, it was quite difficult, but I was able to get work after a couple of months. It doesn't matter how I look at it. My friend comes to teach her yoga every day. There was also a lot of work going on in my room and I was always busy doing it. At first I decided to learn along with clinics. But due to my work schedule, I wasn't able to do this as a result of the training. she was feeling well. Further, as a result of the procedure, she was able to stay happy and healthy for a long period of time. It made me happy because I was happy to see her happy because she was my love as a parent. We were both very happy with our child. After she had been doing yoga for a week, the problem started to rise, and then she went to the market and brought new hot yoga fit dresses home with her. I found that to be very revealing. As soon as she got home, I asked her about the dresses she had bought. Her arguments with me was that these are the best dresses to wear while doing yoga. The reason I did not say anything is because I didn't know what to say. The fact that she was right about her place was also true. Anyhow, I thought those dresses were a bit too revealing for me, as well as trusting her. I also trusted my friend. So I did not say anything to her because I knew I could trust both of them. Day by day, I noticed that her attitude was changing with her. It is also worth mentioning that she acted selfish swiftly at the time as well. During a particular stressful time when our child was crying, and also when it was time for her to feed the baby, she was sat on her bed just using her cell phone and laughing upon entering the room. I asked her in anger what she was doing, since her baby was crying and hungry and wanted to know what she was doing. Just a couple of minutes ago. She said she had not heard it and that I was coming to feed the baby. I then went to the washroom, and after about 5 minutes, when I got out of the washroom, she was still in the room sitting on the bed. She was playing with her cell phone when I shouted over to her what she was doing. I got into a heated argument with her over it and we started fighting. It took me a while to grab her phone and place it on the cupboard. But I finally was able to do this after I told her to go feed her baby, and then she went to feed her baby on that particular day. It was extreme. In addition to that, she has stopped making food for me. Instead, she always makes food for herself. The previous behavior of the women was to make a meal 3 times a day. But this was a new behavior on her part due to the lockdown. We were stuck in the house for 4 months, and I thought it might be that she was depressed or that she needed a psychiatrist for it. Then one night I was checking the pet camera that was built into the neck belt of our dog, and I realized that it wasn't working. It made me sick to find something that made me feel ill. I checked the recording in which the dog was passing through the room. The Jenny was doing yoga with my friend. As the dog was walking past during the recording, the scene was shown as half screen. But I was certain that what was going on was that my so-called friend was placing his hands inappropriately on Janet's body. The first thing that came to my mind was that they might be performing some yoga positions. But after seeing that footage 50 times, I was finally convinced that they were doing something dirty, because it was unusual for me to feel less than a man at the times. I do not know how I felt. In fact, I was more shocked by the fact that despite how much I trusted Jenny and my friend, both of them took advantage of my trust in the worst possible way. It doesn't matter how I look at it, I didn't leave the room that night. When I was in pain. During that night, I spent most of my time drinking. It was the next day that I took the screenshot of that footage which shows them making out in the morning. After a long day. It was time for him to teach her yoga in the evening. In the middle of practicing yoga, I appeared in the room and sat down in the chair nearby. When they asked me what I was doing, I said that I was just looking at the yoga exercises and told them to go ahead. There was a lot of nervousness going on while they were doing yoga. I could tell by the look in my friend's eyes that he was guilty of what he had done at the end of the session when they were done. Then I told them that I had taken a few pictures of them while they were doing yoga. It would be nice if I could show you some of the pictures on my cell phone that I've taken. There was a picture of their sin in my cell phone. There was astonishment on their faces. It was then that my friend started telling Watson to listen to me carefully because it doesn't look like what it is. I told him to calm down and that I would be right back as soon as I could. I went to another room and bought the base B bed from there. After entering, I started beating him with the bat. As soon as I entered the room, I must say it was a very violent assault, and I was certain the few bones he had would be broken in the process. After beating him, I slapped twice Jenny and threw him out of my house. After that, then I informed her that she would receive the divorce papers and I would contact her about the custody of our child. Once she received the divorce papers, it's been a week